friends. Today I wanted to do a little bit of a chit-chatty type of video with you because I do get some questions from my clients about what resort is the best one for children and what is the best resort if you don't have kids. So the easy answer is any of them, for both. If you think about why Walt Disney created Disney World, it's because he wanted to, not that this is necessary, you don't need to know this when you're picking a resort, but he wanted to have a place where he could participate with his daughter. He would bring his daughter to like a local small amusement park and he had to sit on a bench and watch her ride the rides because they were meant for kids. And he didn't want that at Disney World. He wanted adults and kids to be able to do things together. So all Disney resorts are acceptable for people with children, and all resorts are acceptable for people without children. And I can say that they all cover every category of people. I've stayed at all three resort categories. And I have seen, in the deluxes, I have seen people with small children, and in values, I have seen groups of adults with no kids. So don't worry about that no matter where you are staying. You wanna stay somewhere where you like the theming and it fits your budget. Now, I know a lot of people with, I don't want to say even necessarily with small kids, but there are people who say that the Grand Floridian, because it's considered Disney's flagship resort, and it's arguably the fanciest, I would say, that a lot of people say they're uncomfortable there. And I have never understood that. I have stayed there more than I've stayed there more than any Disney hotel. And I have never felt that. I stayed there as a child with my family. We had 3 kids in my family. Not quiet kids. Definitely not a quiet child or a quiet adult. And that was never an issue. They never made us feel uncomfortable or out of place or like, oh, you have to be quiet here. This is a fancy hotel. The only thing I can say about that is maybe in the club level area, we're probably expected from our parents, not necessarily the staff, but from our parents to be a little bit quieter and more well-behaved. But I think that is kind of common sense. It's a food area. Probably don't let your kid run around screaming. But other than that, totally appropriate. I've stayed in club level at the Grand Floridian as recently as this past August, and there were small children there. So, it's not at all uncomfortable. They expect small kids at all of the resorts, so that is not an issue. Now, if you want to stay away from children, I don't think there is I'm certain, again, there's not a resort on property where you are going to avoid children. It's not gonna happen because, like I said, Disney is meant for kids. I think you probably get less children at the deluxes. And I think that not because people are necessarily uncomfortable there or because it's not appropriate for kids, but because of the cost. If you are going with a child, a lot of times it's at least a group of 3, either 2 parents and a child or a parent and 2 kids, and it's just more expensive. In general, regardless of what you have, it's just more expensive to stay at a deluxe resort. So, I think a lot of people, kids cost a lot of money. So I think in that regard, you probably have fewer children at the deluxes, but I don't think it's super, super obvious. Now, if you are concerned about, say you want a trip that you want it to be more of a romantic trip and you want it to be quieter and more relaxing, I would recommend a room away from the pool. I know our last trip when we were at the Grand Floridian, we had a pool view room, and we were right outside of where they showed the tapes, where they showed the videos, where they showed the movies on this great big screen on the lawn next to the pool. And it went quite late. I was surprised. It was after 11 and it was super, super loud. So if you want a quiet room, regardless of even if you have kids, you could, request that. I would definitely say a room not facing the pool because pools are loud anyway. You have kids playing in the pools, they're gonna be louder. And then depending on where the movies are. I know at the Grand Floridian, the movies are right by the pool. So keep that in mind too. I mean, you can always request a quieter room, like I said, away from the pool, away from the nighttime movies, that kind of thing. But in general, I don't really have a specific answer like, oh, stay here if you don't want to be by kids, or stay here if you want to bring your kids, because all resorts are appropriate for children and all resorts are going to have children. Now, I also have stayed at a couple of the convention center resorts, which include the Grand Floridian and include Coronado Springs, with my thought process being, if people are there for conventions, they might not have kids with them. And I did not notice any fewer children there than at any of the other resorts. I mean, who's to say if there's a convention going on at the time when you're booking? And I mean, it's impossible to predict. So yeah, that's kind of my opinion, I guess, is if you have kids, stay at any resort. Just worry about your price and the theme. They'll for sure be welcome. And if you want to stay at a resort with fewer kids, I don't think, you can't go to Disney World and expect a room with no kids, but I would say your odds are probably better at a deluxe. And you can always request, if you're concerned more about noise and stuff like that, you can always request a quieter room away from the pool and away from the movies at night. So yeah, nothing super in-depth, or like I don't have like a secret or anything here, but that's just my opinion, and that's what I have kind of found over the years as I've been going to Disney. So I hope you guys found this helpful and enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.